want you to die for me, Bakari.
I need this nigga dead. But then you niggas gonna have to do it without me. Straight up. Fuck!
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang. The Shy, Season 6, Episode 8, the mid-season finale. And this was a banger. Definitely, I think, the best episode of the entire season. And I know we have the episode, of course, with Pastor Jackson getting killed. We have, of course, a funeral episode. But I think this episode did an amazing job of hitting all the emotional notes, having all the chaos, shootouts, shit like that, and still having all the drama in the fold. Like, they hit every single note for every single character within this episode. And once again, like I said, the best episode of the season. And I'm mad they're going on a break. This episode was straight fire, so you know we gotta dive right into it. Now, I made a bold prediction that someone was gonna die within this episode, and it didn't turn out like that. It kind of did. We're gonna have to dive into everything, but you know, with the Shy, when shit gets popping, we dive into all the fire shit first. So of course, this episode was called Who Shot You, and everyone was gunning for DOUDA. There was a hit on him. Of course, we're gonna talk about Robb, we're gonna talk about Emmett, we're gonna talk about Vic's role in all of this, and it just was so much going on. But I also want to dive into the boys within this episode, specifically Kev, because of course he's leaving, and this actually felt like a goodbye moment for not only his character but his actor as well. They were showing a lot of flashbacks of the boys, him and his sister, so I want to dive into them a little in their own section, talk about how they grew from there to now, where I think their story will start to continue from here. I also want to make videos because I'm not sure when the Shy is returning. I don't think there's currently a release date for the next 8 episodes to come back around, so I'm gonna have to make prediction videos about what's gonna come next, because as you guys have probably seen, we know what went off in this episode, and there's a lot still to happen. Of course, we have to talk about Robb's mom. We have to talk about Zay. Just so much. Like I said, this was the best episode. So you guys go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any theories, predictions you want me to talk about before the new season comes back, or should I say this season resumes after the mid-season finale. Let me know any information of when this season will return. Let me know all that down below. And also, if you fuck with Power Book Force, I already dropped my recap for that episode. That episode was a banger as well. If you fuck with D-Mac, you'll be for sure want to go check out that video, because damn, 2 back-to-back banger episodes on the same day. Yeah, it's lit for real. Once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below, and let's get right into it. So right into the real shit. What happened within this episode? Now, we saw all the clips, the trailer beforehand of what looked to be someone spinning the block on DOUDA. Now, I swear to God, when I watched the trailer, I could not tell it was Robb in the back of the car. All y'all was saying it, but when I watched the episode, it was so fucking clearly him. And I don't realize how I didn't know this within the fucking trailer when I seen it, but that's just so funny to me. But within this episode, of course, going back the whole season, Robb was tasked with finding out who killed his uncle Q. Of course, it was DOUDA. He was tasked with this by his mom, and she told him, find out who killed Q, take them out, and then she gave him like $100K for him and Tiff to start up their weed business, their own shit basically. And of course, throughout the whole season, he asked Nook didn't tell him shit really. He asked Vic the first time. Vic told him he didn't know DOUDA had a lot of enemies, well, Q had a lot of enemies, shit like that. And then eventually, after talking to the pastor, Vic decided to come clean with Robb and tell him what happened. Now, knowing all this information, Robb decided that he was gonna have to go through with it and kill DOUDA. Also, who else was in the car driving it? It was your boy Emmett. Now, Emmett throughout this season has been working with DOUDA. He started working with him at the end of season 5. He wanted to help his family get a better life, but he just got caught up more and more, getting more and more controlled by DOUDA, and he eventually wanted out. He even pulled up on DOUDA, pulled the gun out on him. He didn't pull it. DOUDA basically knocked his ass out, and Emmett decided he was gonna pay his way out. But within this episode, when Tiff came to Emmett and told him that Robb was gonna try and kill DOUDA, he decided he wanted to be a part of it. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. So they both decide to team up and they go to Vic for help. Now, Vic, I thought this was crazy. This whole scene was wild, but Vic, he actually decided he didn't want to fuck with it. He said he had too much to lose. He wasn't with it. So DOUDA and Robb decided they was going to handle the shit by themselves, and that's what they did. Emmett called up DOUDA, told him they had to meet. They spent in the car, and the gun fucking jammed. This nigga Robb had DOUDA dead to rights. The gun jammed, which is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, he missed a lot of fucking shots even before that happened. This nigga is down bad. But the gun jammed and he got shot back. Emmett pulled off, but Robb did get shot, and at the end of this episode, he is in the hospital in the ICU. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have to make a lot of prediction videos and things to talk about with this because he's in the hospital. DOUDA is gonna know it was them. Well, he already kind of does, because once again, I say Emmett called him for the meetup. So they're in an even worse spot than they already were. Now Vic went to visit Robb and Emmett at the hospital, asked what went on, told him they shouldn't have did this shit, and then he went home. He put on that all black Tommy fit, if you watch Power, and he was about to go handle it, but his girl stopped him. Now, once again, this is setting up to be crazy when the show comes back around, because he knows who did the shit. Emmett is definitely not safe. Now, I made the prediction that Nook was gonna die within this episode, and I still think he's gonna die by the end of the season, because they kind of just set off a whole fucking war. And now Nook, he's not gonna be able to protect Keisha and Emmett anymore, and he's gonna have to make a decision. I think DOUDA is gonna force him to make a decision, but that's a video for another day. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna circle back around to my Nook death prediction, because we got a lot of scenes with him, where one scene in particular where him and Keisha within this episode that we're gonna talk about, like I said, another video for another day. But Robb, yep, he really got shot. We got to talk about his mom as well. His mom actually had a meeting with Zay within this episode. Now, Zay, of course, is one of DOUDA underlings. He be around Nook. He's the one who pointed the gun at Bakari. She had a meeting with him and told him, or asked him if he wanted to come work for her. Now, she was kind of implying that DOUDA wouldn't be around much longer, but he did survive type shit. So now DOUDA, of course, hacks Zay up. This is gonna lead him even more to working with Robb's mom, and I think this might even, he may even be the person that inevitably takes out DOUDA or Nook. I think she's gonna use him as a pawn, as someone on the inside to get rid of both of them. Once again, we're gonna talk about this video, these predictions later, but I think Zay will be the one to take out Nook. I wanted to throw this out there right now, right here. I think Zay will be the one to take out Nook. Now, to jump into, I'll put Papa and Bakari in their own sections, because, you know, they lost Pastor Jackson. They've been grieving ever since. And we're going to Bakari first, because bro is fucking in the slums. Like, bro, he's just drinking, laying on a couch, sleeping all day. But an important scene happened within this episode that I actually didn't expect. He actually got like a vision, or should I say a dream, or imagine Coogie. Of course, if you guys don't know who Coogie is, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Of course, that was his friend that died way back in season fucking 1, and the reason he went and killed Ronnie, because he wanted his get back. And now Coogie kind of gave him a pep talk, told him he need to live, enjoy his life, he don't want him to die for him, anything like that. Basically telling him what he needed to hear, because we saw Papa talk to him within this episode, we saw Lene talk to him, and none of it was really working at all. But this imagination, this dream, hallucination, whatever you want to call it, seemed to really help him. So I want to see how he bounced back from all this, and I think this is going to give him the push he needs to completely leave and get out that life. Pastor Jackson already wanted that for him, and now he had this, once again, dream, hallucination, whatever you want to call it, of his friend, and his friend told him to live. And I want to see what happens with the whole gun situation. Remember, in the last episode, he went and gave the guns to Lene, and they didn't bring it up within this episode. I want to see how that circles back around and plays a part in the next coming episodes of the season whenever it comes back around. I hope they don't just forget about it. That has to play a major role in what's gonna play out later. But Moving on to Papa. Papa within this episode once again talked to the girl. I could never remember this girl name. I feel like it's Kenya or something like that. He told her he couldn't be with her once again because his father didn't like her or didn't want him, didn't think he was ready and shit like that. And he also had a conversation with Jake and Kev where he was like, he was gonna go to like Bible school or something like that because it's what his father would have wanted. He wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. And he also told him he stopped messing with girl because Jake told him, is it because his dad didn't like her? And he's kind of just doing whatever his dad wanted. He's not living for himself currently at this point. And Jake told him that, like, just because he died doesn't mean you gotta live or do everything for him. You can live for yourself. And that kind of circles back around and parallels to Bakari of Coogie telling him, live for him, live for yourself, like live your own life type shit. And Papa is kind of doing the exact opposite, doing everything his father, he thought or thinks his father would have wanted him to do. So that's pretty interesting to see. I want to continue to see how both of their grievings parallel to one another. It looks like Papa isn't blaming Bakari anymore for the whole situation taking place, but I want to continue to see if Papa just continues to go down the path he thinks his father would have wanted him to. And I want to see if Bakari ever gets back in that life, what happens with the whole gun situation, everything of the sort. And now the last thing I want to touch on is, of course, Kev leaving. This actually, once again, like I said in the intro, felt like a goodbye, a farewell to his character and actor. Like, he's not going to be around anymore. A good majority of the episodes and scenes were about him. And they also, like I said earlier, had a lot of flashbacks showing him, Papa, and Jake when they were young, showing him and his sister, everything she did for him, they did for each other, the good times they had, everything of the sort. So this actually felt like a farewell to him. It's kind of crazy to see where they all came from, like seeing the flashbacks of how they looked in season 1 and 2 compared to now. Like, we really grew up with these characters, and that's crazy to see. But yeah, I think he's pretty much really gone, and I think kind of makes sense in a sort of way. I always thought, like, earlier in the seasons when they were very young, I thought they was gonna eventually like become the main characters of the entire show, the entire series. Thought they was gonna kill off a large majority of the adult cast, but this is still more so an adult centered show with adult problems and things going on. Not that they don't, well, I would say they aren't as important or don't get as many scenes as they used to do. But now I think it once again makes sense that Kev left, but I want to see how they continue to utilize Jake and Papa because of this situation. Kev did give Jake his apartment. I guess I'll talk about Jemma and that whole situation in this section. I really don't be caring for it because if it be feeling like self-manufactured drama out of nowhere. But like I said, Kev gave Jake his apartment and Jake wanted to move in by himself. Jemma wanted to move in with him. He told her no, he wanted his own place. So she went to the studio with her new artist, who is Bakari's sister, I believe, and kissed her, cheated on him basically. She eventually stopped the situation, but then the girl gave her 10 bands basically to get her own place. And she told her it's just because she believe in her, she don't want to fuck and shit like that, but we know she won't fuck. Come on now, bruh. So Jake told her that the girl pimping out, that Jemma her hoe and shit like that. That was kind of funny, but I don't really care for that storyline. Like, what's going on here? Like, is Jemma just gonna cheat on everybody she's been with? I don't know. She's already having problems with Maisha. I'm pretty sure Maisha, when the show comes back around, is gonna have her make a decision of who she's gonna choose, Bakari's sister or Maisha. I think she's gonna choose Bakari's sister sooner or later. I want to know how his sister got all that money. She must be into some bad shit as well. I wonder if they're gonna dive deeper into her character, or they're just gonna keep doing these one-off scenes with Jemma, focus more on the music side, the professional side of things. But it would be cool to see her backstory, her life, everything like that, how she's even getting this money to just hand Jemma 10K. If she could just hand her 10K, why does she need her to be her manager? She could go get a manager or manage herself. I'm just saying. But once again, Maisha is gonna make her choose eventually, and I think she's gonna choose Bakari's sister. Well, I think she's also gonna cheat on Jake once again, but who knows? Let's just continue to see how it plays out. But overall, that was the mid-season finale. Like I said, this was probably the best episode of the entire season so far, and I think it's because they did everything so well. Like, you weren't waiting for one specific moment necessarily, like you kind of were, but they was doing every single scene justice. They was doing so good that you kind of just was enjoying it everywhere, all the way through. Like, they had a lot of funny jokes. Like, that boy Emmett told Robb, "Are they gonna need Pooh Shiesty mask when they do the job?" Out DOUDA was joked out. They had the fucking funny dances. They had, you know, the Shy gotta have the party sequences, shit like that. Like, they had their ups, downs. They had the emotional notes. Once again, like I said, they had the drama notes, the drama beats, and they had the chaos. They had the shootouts. They had what everyone wanted to see in a mid-season finale. And now I'm mad because I can't wait for the show to come back already. But once again, like I said, I'm gonna already have some theory videos in the works. I gotta talk about Nook, DOUDA, Robb's mom, Say. There's a lot to talk about. And once again, I want you guys to let me know down below in the comments if there is any information about when the show could be possibly coming back, or do we just not know? I can't wait for a new trailer revealing when it's coming back around. Of course, we're gonna break that down when it happens, but until then, I'll be making Power Book Force videos, recaps week to week, and as you guys seen, probably like every 2 to 3 Sundays, I drop a full review and deep dives into other shows, whether it's dramas, movies, whatever. I drop full reviews. I did One Piece. I did, of course, The Idol, Arrow. I did so many shows. I'm going to continue to do that. So you can leave suggestions for those down below in the comments too. But once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.